So I'm going to try to do my first ever tutorial, so bear with me. I'm going to make a headband to match this little dress here, and the supplies that I'm going to use is I'm going to use one of these headbands that I got from Target, and I cut off the metal piece right here, and so this is, I just have a piece of trim basically here, so you could use any stretchy trim. And then I have a couple of pieces of ribbon. I have some grosgrain ribbon, and I have another piece of purple ribbon, and I have 3 Wild Orchid Craft wild curly roses. I have from the two-tone mixed color wild roses, PM 00132, and then also just from the pink small curly wild roses, FM 00251. And then I just need scissors, and I'm going to use a little scrapper's floss, which I got out of this, to tie my bows. The reason that I'm using that is I don't want to use wire, being it's next to her head, and the scrapper's floss has kind of the waxy covering on it that helps when you tie it to make it stay. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use my trusty glue gun and a ruler to measure and scissors, and that should be all that I need. So I measured Lexi's head, and I need a total of 14 inches. So if I put it in half, I just need 7 inches. So I'm measuring the trim on here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my glue gun and overlap it to make the 7 inches. So I'll just put a little glue right here on the edge and overlap it like that. So we're just overlapping it. And so I'll just double check here and see if I have my measurements it's stretchy, so and it's right at 7, so that's perfect. And so then what I'm going to do is I've got it glued right here, so I'm just going to cut off this excess piece right here, and I'm going to cut off this little bit right here. I just want it to be flat and smooth against her head. So there is that right there, and so it's nice and firm. Okay, and then I'm going to take my grosgrain ribbon and I'm going to make a bow. And so I just start with one loop, and then I'm going to start here with the other. And you can just make it as big as you like. I like to do it like this because I want one tail up at the top and one tail at the bottom. So I just kind of scrunch it together, make sure it's nice and smooth. I want these pieces hanging out good like that. And maybe I might make it just a little smaller. It is for a baby. I know you can make just about any sizes these days, and everything goes, so that's nice. So I think I'm gonna do it like that, and then I'm gonna take my floss, my scrapper's floss, and I'm gonna tie a knot in it, and that's gonna cinch the bow together for me. So before I put the knot piece, I'm going to just make sure that it's all the way that I want it. Okay, and then I'm just going to tie a knot like that. Okay, and then I have 2 strands there, and I'm going to do pretty much the same thing with the piece of purple. I just wanted, the flowers that I'm putting on top are not purple, so I wanted a little bit more purple color. So I decided to add it this way. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so kind of like, maybe I'll go that way direction. Okay, I'm going to take this other piece, that piece of the edges, and tie another knot right like this. And the scrapper's floss just holds it really nice and firm so that it doesn't what you've done out doesn't come apart. And you can always adjust to however you want it to look. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to, let's see, maybe I want it to go this way and go this way to match the other strands. Okay, so I'm just going to cut off right here and then here. I just cut those at an angle. Okay, and I can, maybe I'll put one more knot in here. I just don't want it coming apart. Okay, I'm going to put that there. I'm going to cut off the little pieces right down here. Okay, then I'm going to cut my ends, and I just want them a little bit longer than the loop of the bow. So I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to take my sewing scissors that I only use for fabric, and I'm going to cut the long edge is at the bottom, and then towards the fold is where I'm going to make the angle cut, so that then I'll have the V-shaped. So I'm just going to cut it like that, and then I come out with that edge looking like that. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay, so that's my bow. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue that on top of the trim, the stretchy trim. So just get out the good old glue gun here. And I'm going to just put a little dollop of glue. Try not to put too much glue because I don't want it real hard on her head, but I don't want it coming off either. Fortunately, she's still at the stage where she doesn't pull her headbands off, but I'm sure that time's coming, and then we might have to make them more child-proof. But we will do as needed. We want her safe and pretty, but safety comes first. So that is the headband. And now I'm going to just glue on the three. I'm pulling the colors from the flowers on the dress, the yellow and the pink and the turquoise. And so I've still got the purple in there. So I'm going to glue those three on in the center. So let's do that. So I've got one going there. I'm going to put the pink one kind of here in the center, like that. And I kind of scrunch them together. And then I'm going to put the yellow one right here and kind of scrunch all three together. I'm making kind of a visual triangle there. So there is the headband, and you see how nice it looks with the little dress. It just looks like it was made to go with it, which it was, but these are really hard colors to come by, and you could put a white headband with it, but it is really nice to have the colors, and it's so easy. The Wild Orchid Craft flowers just make the finishing touch. So thank you so much for bearing with my first tutorial. See you later.